Lightfall is only a few weeks away now, and with the arrival of the next DLC, that means some seasonal content is going away, and the potential with that is the ability to craft some of the best weapons that we have in the game. Well, today I want to focus on the weapons to craft before Lightfall rolls around, how to get those patterns so you can craft god rolls of your own whenever you want to in Destiny 2. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell, and roughly 95% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed. So subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, before we get stuck into it today, you want to get yourself to the Enclave on Mars, on Savathun's throne world, and check out the Relic. This is where all of the crafting takes place, and you will need to complete an introduction quest here if you haven't interacted with it before, plus you will also need various materials. The most important thing, though, is you're going to need weapon patterns, which you can either get by leveling up or dismantling red bordered weapons. You know, how many you need depends on the weapon itself, but it's normally between 3 and 5. So once you've crafted your weapons, then you can level them up by using them to unlock perks, and hey presto, any role combination available at the Relic is then yours. So with Lightfall coming around in only a few weeks' time, it is well worth crafting some really good weapons that are available at the moment in Destiny 2. So without further delay, let's dive into the best weapons to craft before Lightfall. Well, first of all, we've got the BXR-55 Battler. This one is a pulse rifle. It's a legendary energy pulse rifle dealing solar damage. It comes with a custom frame called the Legacy PR-55. This means it's a customized frame with dramatically increased accuracy, stability, and targeting whilst you are hip firing. Well, to get this one, it's a random drop from Dares of Eternity, or you can get it from ZAOULI'S treasure hoard, and you can also open ZAOULI'S chest with keys. Okay, next up we've got Firefright. This one is an auto rifle. This is from Season of the Haunted. It's a legendary kinetic auto rifle with a precision frame, meaning the weapon's recoil pattern is much more predictably vertical. So Firefright is a great auto rifle with a decent perk pool. Well, to get this one, you have to take part in the seasonal activity from Season of the Haunted, and that's the Nightmare Containment. And you can find that on the Derelict Leviathan on the Moon. And also, you want to go to the Crown of Sorrow in the Helm and pick up those red borders weapon. And for Fireflight, you are going to need 5 red bordered weapons. Well, next up, we've got another one of my favourites. This one is the CALUS SMG version 1.0.3. So this one is a submachine gun. It's a legendary energy submachine gun with an aggressive frame, meaning high damage and also high recoil. So this one's got a great origin trait as well, Rasputin's Arsenal. So breaking a target shield reloads the magazine. Well, to get this SMG, you're going to need to find Rasputin's nodes, and they are found hidden around in various locations in the solar system. So there is a chance that you get a red bordered version of the weapon when it drops from that node. So if you go into the helm as well, you can also buy CALUS weapons from the Exo frame. You can find that to the right hand side of the helm. You can also upgrade the perks at the table at the Exo frame to access more CALUS weapons. Plus, don't forget those daily red borders weapons as we lead up to Lightfall. Well, next up we've got ZAOULI'S BANE. This one is a hand cannon. It's a legendary energy hand cannon with an adaptive frame, and it's got wear and a grip. It's reliable and it's sturdy. This one is a King's Fall raid weapon. It comes with the origin trait Runneth Over, where reloading their allies overflows the magazine. And to get this one, you have to run the King's Fall raid. 3 places you can get this from in the raid. So the Golgoroth encounter, as the 4th boss, the Daughters, that's the 5th boss, or by beating Oryx, and that is the final boss. Also, you've got secret chests throughout the raid, and if you've got that weapon to drop for you already, there's a chance it'll drop from the secret chest as well. And don't forget about the vendor at the end of the raid. Well, next up, one of my favourite snipers in the game. This one is Succession. It's a legendary kinetic sniper rifle with an aggressive frame, meaning high damage and high recoil. To get this one, you're going to need to run the Deepstone Crypt raid found on Europa. And at the minute, you do need the Beyond Light DLC to get into that raid. And Succession is a random drop from the 2nd boss encounter. Well, don't forget, with Beyond Light and the red bordered weapons, that does go round in the raid rotation. So if it is around in the rotation, that is a really good week to dive in and get those red border versions of the weapon, as Bungie has buffed the drop rate for those weapons. Well, next up we've got another hand cannon. This one is Ostringer. This is a really, really good hand cannon. Yes, you've got IS Luna. Yes, you've got Rose. They are decent alternatives. But personally, I really, really like Ostringer. You know, it's a great feeling weapon. It's a legendary kinetic hand cannon. It's got an adaptive frame, meaning a well-rounded grip. It's reliable and it's sturdy. This one was also part of Season of the Haunted, so you want to open up those opulent chests on the Derelict Leviathan. You can access that on the moon. However, you can't open up without an opulent key. You can get opulent keys by opening loot chests on the Derelict Leviathan, also at the end of the Nightmare Containment activity. So this one is probably one of the best craftable weapons out there, so make sure you get those red border versions of the weapon before Lightfall, and also go to that Crown of Sorrow in the helm, and make sure you get those red borders, and definitely craft this one before Lightfall rolls around. Well, next up we got Retrofit Escapade. This one is a machine gun. It's a rapid fire lightweight machine gun. Yeah, it's fantastic for mowing down smaller enemies, but also normally against bosses this weapon can struggle. However, this one has some really good changes, particularly this perk called Target Lock. It's been making the headlines this season, so definitely recommend getting one with Target Lock if you can. So you can also combine Target Lock and volatile rounds. It's a deadly combination, given this one is a void machine gun. Well, to get Retrofit Escapade, you have to take part in the seasonal activity, and that is in Season of the Seraph, and that is called Heist Battlegrounds. And you can select that from the director via the helm. So when you complete the Heist Battlegrounds, you open up the chest at the end, and you want to open up the one on the right hand side. That will give you seasonal loot. Also, you can purchase the Retrofit Escapade from the Exo frame in the helm. And don't forget, once again, about those daily red border versions of the weapons. Well, next up we've got a Scout Rifle. This one is Tarnished Metal. This one is from Season of Plunder. It's a legendary energy Scout Rifle with a lightweight frame, meaning it's got superb handling. They move fast with the weapon equipped. It's got the origin trait for this one, Right Hook, where dealing melee damage gives the weapons increased target acquisition and range for a short period of time, and dealing melee damage again extends that effect. To get this one, you have to take part in Season of Plunder activities, like Catch Crash or Expeditions. Tarnished Metal is a potential reward from those activities. And you can also focus Umbral engrams at the helm via the star chart, and that is right in front of you when you land at the helm, and you can get red border versions of the Tarnished Metal. So what you're going to need is 5 red bordered versions of this weapon before you can craft it, but definitely recommended. So Scout Rifles are always really popular in every season. They normally come with either unstoppable anti-champion mods. Also, it is an Arc Scout Rifle, so really, really good for Arc 3.0 builds. Definitely recommend this one. It's a really decent Scout Rifle. Well, next up we've got Disparity, one of my favourite pulse rifles in the game. It's a legendary kinetic pulse rifle with an aggressive burst, meaning it's a hard-hitting 4-burst fire. And to get Disparity, you have to take part in that seasonal activity again in Season of the Seraph. That one is called Heist Battlegrounds. So run through the Heist Battlegrounds, beat the boss at the end, and open up that chest on the right-hand side, and you will get that seasonal loot. You can also purchase Disparity from the Exo frame in the helm, and here you are going to need 5 versions of the red border of the weapon before you get the pattern, and then you can go to the Enclave on Mars to craft your very own Disparity. This one is excellent in both PvE and PvP, so definitely worth getting hold of this one before Lightfall rolls around. Well, finally today we've got my favourite craftable weapon, and this one is the CALUS mini tool. It's a legendary energy submachine gun. It is a legendary energy submachine gun, meaning it's got superb handling, and you move faster with a lightweight weapon equipped. This one is pretty good in PvP, although it's really, really good in PvE. This is almost an exotic weapon when it rolls with incandescent, and makes it perfect for solar and stasis builds. Well, to get that CALUS mini tool, you want to open up those opulent chests on the Derelict Leviathan, and the opulent chests, well, they are located around the Leviathan, though, once again, like Ostringer, you can't open them up without an opulent key. So you want to run through that activity, Nightmare Containment, and you'll get those opulent keys to drop for you at the end. Look at the key, you'll find a map, then go and find those chests, and hopefully you'll get a red bordered version of the CALUS mini tool. So I made this one my priority because this submachine gun with incandescent is absolutely incredible. As I mentioned before, this one behaves like an exotic weapon, so this is definitely a weapon that you want to take into Lightfall. And again, you want to get 5 versions of the red borders. You can either level them up individually or you can delete them, and then you'll have your very own craftable CALUS mini tool. Well, let me know in the comments what weapons you want to craft before Lightfall, and let me know what roles you're going for. Well, that is it for this guide for the best weapons to craft before Lightfall in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.